Hey guys, Marsinger here, bringing on Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle video, and so today we're going to be taking a look at the tien, the final of the World Tournament EZAs from this World Tournament. Obviously this guy is only available from the DB Saga banner, so I know that there is the possibility that some people just don't have this guy. You wouldn't have been able to pick up any copies of him in this World Tournament because they give these DB Saga cards EZAs, but then they don't make them available as part of the mission rewards. So if you don't have them, you have no guaranteed way of getting them. Like, you could get lucky and get them from the summons you do with the tickets you get, or you could just not get them at all. But here's what it is. Now, unfortunately, this guy, he doesn't have any 220% leaders. And unfortunately, the 200% leaders that he has are not particularly great, right? You've got the Int, Carnival Kid Gohan, because he's on Bond of Master and Disciple. Then we've got, like, 23rd World Tournament Goku, Yamcha, I guess actually Path to Power Kid Goku. He is on his 200% lead, I think, because yeah, Tien is on Bond of Friendship. So he would be on the 200% for double. I guess you could run double Kid Goku, but obviously we're going to be running him on the AGL Kid Goku team because that makes the most sense, right? That's the more meta relevant team. So he's only getting a 170 lead from this Goku, so that is something we obviously do have to bear in mind. His super attack, the Tri-Beam, greatly raised defense for 1 turn, supreme damage to the enemy, greatly lowers attack and defense. And then his passive, Key 2 and 200% attack and defense. When facing only one enemy, he gets an extra 250% defense and 30% damage reduction, which is good, right, because it's most difficult fights in the meta now. Before attacking with 12 or more key, he gets another 30% damage reduction. Probably not going to have enough defense to be a slot 1 tank, even with 60%, but that does give him a little bit of protection from AoEs, at least, which some of the meta bosses do. And then when attacking with 12 or more key, he gets 250% extra attack, high chance to perform a crit, so 50%, and stuns the attacked enemy for 2 turns, like guaranteed. So in events where you can stun, that's going to be very useful because it's just a guaranteed stun. When the enemy is attack down, defense down, or stunned, 1 time only, he gets 1048% extra attack and a guaranteed crit. Now, obviously, that's something that's not necessarily going to come up a huge amount, but there are bosses like in the meta that can be attack lowered. Typically, I don't think we are actually fighting one of those now, but he's got 265k defense start of turns. This is what I mean, like, even with 60% damage reduction, right, you can't put this guy in slot 1. I mean, if a super attack's only doing like 1,000,000 damage, 60% knocks it down to 400k. That means this guy's still taking like 135k from a 1,000,000 damage attack. And as we know, difficult bosses now are hitting for way harder than that, sometimes even with their normal attacks, right? So either way, we'll see how we get on. We've got Infighter, Incredible Adventure, Guidance of the Dragon Balls, and Shattering the Limit. Because unlike Tao, he does at least have the Dragon Ball links, right? So he'll fit on the team relatively well by having those links. The interesting thing, the 4-armed like Int Tien was relatively decent as well. And obviously kind of these guys are stuck on like a Dragon Ball Saga sort of team. His best link partners are not really the best units either, which I guess is probably the a bit of a downside for him. His best link partners are going to be like other Tien or like other Chaozu units, like Youth Krillin, Tien and Chaozu, the Prime Battle LR, World Tournament LR with their EZA, who unfortunately, despite being an LR with an EZA, are fairly outdated at this point. I've put them on the team just so we can see the turn where we get those links, but obviously that could be a dangerous turn for us here. We took a huge chunk of damage there as well, so wow, yeah, this is really not ideal, is it? Okay, well, let's do that. And then, I mean, I guess I could just like Ghost Usher here, I guess. Yeah, that was a really bad setup. I mean, we didn't have a great starting rotation. I mean, to be fair, Kid Goku held down slot 1 fine because he didn't get super attacked, but yeah, that definitely wasn't an ideal first turn for sure. I mean, this is the other thing as well with these characters, that we always have this discussion about World Tournament units and free-to-play units and what the level of expectation could be. Because bear in mind, this is like the Majin Buu Saga stage of the Goku Story Red Zone, which is what, like stage 4? So it's nowhere near the final or nowhere near the most difficult stage of the Goku Story Red Zone. But that's the kind of stage we have to run realistically if we don't want that Tien to just get absolutely destroyed. Now we've also got type disadvantage here as well. Is it too early? I don't know if Bulma will be much use here, really. Of course, we can't even get the 5 orbs, so obviously not going to be very good there. No support. Of course, we get the 7 orbs for you. And then we can get the damage reduction for Kid Goku in slot 3. We're on very low HP. If he slot 1 supers, I think it's just GG, but he didn't. Bulma manages to hang in there. Because, yeah, the thing is, like, I could see him having some use in, like, Super Battle Road, which obviously is an event that doesn't really matter anymore. But, because if, like, somebody lowers attack or lowers defense before he attacks, he gets that one-time only massive boost. Because he's at, like, 9 million now. If he's getting a 1000% extra boost, like the amount of damage that he would be doing would be pretty ridiculous. One time only, guaranteed crit, and he guaranteed stuns. So in something like Super Battle Road, that's really, really good. Other events, obviously, that's not going to come in as useful because not only are there a lot of events where you can't attack lower and stuff anyway, like even battle hardened formidable foes, you can stun in the first phase in a lot of these fights, but then you can't in the second phase. So, I mean, he could be useful on some team builds in the sense that, like, you could, I guess, run him as, like, you could have him when he comes in on the first turn. I'm trying to think about, like, how this would work in, like, battle hardened formidable foes. You could have him come in on the first turn, put him in slot 3, and then even as long as somebody else has attack lowered or defense lowered or something, he's going to do a big hit and he's going to stun. So then if you don't kill them in the first turn, on the second turn, that enemy is stunned and then you kill them. And then you go into the first part of the second phase, and he's not going to be back on rotation yet. The problem is he obviously then comes back on turn 4. A lot of the battle hardened foes fights can be beaten in like 4 turns. So then when he comes back on turn 4, you put him in slot 3 and just hope that you've won before he gets attacked. But the problem is, the most difficult of the battle hardened foe stages, the last one against Cell Max and then the one before that against Broly, they both have AoE super attacks. So even though this guy does have the 60% before he gets hit, those guys hit so hard that he will just get absolutely destroyed by that AoE super. So let's go ahead and do this. We'll get the orbs for you. So on this rotation we have Crane School and Telepathy active, which are not very common links. Crane School giving 20% extra attack, Telepathy giving 2 key and a 5% crit chance. We do have Shocking Speed as well, which is decent. I don't know how well these guys are going to manage in slot 3, to be fair, even with the type advantage, but I guess we will see. Alright, so we'll go ahead and do this. Because, I mean, this tien, unfortunately, as much as it's... I know the DB Saga has its fans. When it comes to these units from the DB Saga banner, they're just... I don't know what the deal is with them. I don't know what the thought process is with them, which is something I say about, like, the World Tournament EZAs quite a lot. Because these characters are not easy to get. Like, you don't get any guaranteed copies of them. Like I said, you might not have this tien. You might then use all of your World Tournament tickets that you've got, like the DB Saga banner tickets, and then still not get a copy of him. So you would think with them being so hard to get, even though they're technically free-to-play units, they could make them a little bit better. Especially because a character like this tien, with the links that he has and everything, he is basically just going to be a DB Saga like character, like on a DB Saga team. There's not really any other teams realistically that you're going to be running him on. And unfortunately, like I said, the forearm tien that we got was relatively decent. He had the sort of physical rosé thing where he could do multiple attacks, and each time he'd be getting stronger. But obviously all the TNs, especially from these older arcs like DB Saga and Saiyan Saga TN, they all just have the same name because he doesn't have any other forms. So then you're forced to link him up with, to get some of his more obscure links, then you have to use like a Chaozu or the Tien and Chaozu LR, who obviously are not particularly good, but we can kind of get away with running them here a little bit. So yeah, it's an interesting spot for this Tien to be in, I guess, because he's definitely not terrible, but at the same time he's nothing too crazy. Like, his post super defense isn't going to be very high, and then after he's attacked, he obviously then drops down to only having 30% damage reduction. So he's going to be taking some big damage from even some of the weaker hitting enemies. And I think that's a huge problem with how they balance some of these categories. Like, DB Saga isn't the strongest team in the game by any means. So if they're going to have these characters that come out so rarely and are quite difficult to get, like, they should be really good. Especially if they are restricted in the way that they are. Because he has no restrictions in his passive that say that, like, he has to be run on a DB Saga team. But considering, like, his link partners and things like that, he's not going to have a lot of uses outside of those teams. And so when characters really are only going to be good on one or two teams, I feel like that's when they should take the opportunity to make them considerably better, right? Like, this guy, to be perfectly honest, he wouldn't even be super busted, but, like, he should have 60% damage reduction anyway, and then have the 30% damage reduction before he attacks. So in slot 1 he has 90% damage reduction before he attacks. Even then, he can't slot one tank against, like, the hardest hitting bosses, because, you know, with only, like, less than 300k defense start of turn, he's still going to get killed by, like, a 5 million damage super. But that would make him a little bit better, at least, and would absolutely not suddenly make him this crazy busted OP like TUR, right? So it's stuff like that that I do wonder what the thought process is behind some of these awakenings and these units sometimes. Because, in fact, we're obviously not going to get a chance to do anything else with him here if we don't put him in slot 1. So let's bring up Fat Boo's stats here and see what damage he's doing. So Boo Saga, STR Fat Boo, his super does 2.1 million, his normal attacks do 750k, and we have 236k defense start of turn. Do we have the same links? They have Infighter, they don't, so I guess we could just do that. So yeah, he's only got 236k defense start of turn. Bear in mind, extreme, well, he is extreme, which I guess is good, so he's not going to take extra damage from Boo. But 2.1 million damage, or does Boo raise attack? No. So 2.1 million damage, minus 60%, because he's in slot 1, he hasn't attacked. That drops it down to 840k. So if he gets super attacked by Boo here in slot 1, he's going to take 600k, which means we will live, just. I guess, to be fair, we are going to get the buff from Bulma and the active skill. It's a shame we can't see that first, but I do want Kid Goku to be next to him here. So we'll go ahead and do that. That gives him a little bit of a buff to his defense here. And then, yeah, 12k from a normal. And then, what is he taking here? Bulma would have given him a bit of a boost with the active skill. Yeah, 550k. And then he does a 10 million attack stat with the Bulma active skill turn. And then takes 96k on the post. Like, yeah, I mean, what do I really need to say? Like, again, we talk about it all the time with the World Tournament characters, these World Tournament EZAs. People say, oh, you know, you shouldn't expect them to be performing super well in, like, the hardest events in the game. I mean, like I said, this is a more mid-level stage of the Goku Story Red Zone. And, yeah. Because that's the thing, I didn't show the turn in the video. It's like, oh, you didn't get the... When the enemy's stunned, he does 1000% extra attack. I mean, what's he doing? 9 million attack stat. So if we get, what? Let's do 9 million plus 1000, and what is it? 48%. So his attack stat could potentially be like 100 million. That is pretty crazy. It'd be funny to see. But he does it once only, gets a crit, but only if the enemy is in this weakened state of various things, whether it's attack lower, defense lower, or stun. I mean, it's just one of those things. It's kind of like the banner unit Piccolo. It's like, do we really necessarily care about like, oh, this one turn with him, you can get like 100 million attack if it really does go that high. But then he takes 96k from normals from a boss that only does 750k damage normals. Not really ideal. So unfortunately, another swing and a miss when it comes to the DB Saga unit EZAs from the World Tournament. What can I say? I mean, at least we got Bojack and In Future Gohan this World Tournament, who are both pretty good. But yeah, Tien is just nothing special at all. I mean, honestly, I would say he's not even really good. Like I said, the only thing you could use him for really is events where you can stun that are shorter fights, where you can kind of have him on rotation once only, float him off, do that big hit, get the stun, and then hope that the enemy's dead before he comes back around again, right? And that's basically it, which is very disappointing. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. But yeah, nothing special for this guy at all. I probably won't ever use him again after this, so let me know your thoughts in the comments. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Master Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, check out the links down below, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.